Right, so the second part of tutorial for week 3. Just a quick note, when I had the device not ready last time, I had a quick look. It was because I'd got my Cordova version set to 2 rather than 1, which works slightly differently. So we'll set that to 1 now. We're pretty again. Device is ready. So part 2. Obviously, that doesn't look much like a mobile application, does it? We need to start and look at how we can improve, make it look like a real application. PhoneGap builds mobile applications using HTML, but uses a particular semantic markup on top of the HTML that lets you build windows and buttons and navigation in your mobile application. Let's quickly go back to public HTML, into our tutorial, and we'll gedit index.html. So there's our index.html. What I'm going to do, so this is the tutorial notes here. This is the div as it appears by default in the Hello World project. So that's this div here. I'm going to take that out just by deleting it, and I'm going to replace it with this section. So what we've got here are 2 primary div blocks. This one, which says there's a data role of a page with an ID of win1, and then it's got a header element and a content element, and then we've got a second div which has an ID of window2 and it's got a few extra properties. This one says add a back button is true, and then again we've got a header and a content block. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to replace the div that we had before with this block. Just make sure everything's lined up. So here now we've got our window 1 and our window 2, and I save that. I'm going to reload my phone application. Okay, and what we can see now is we've got something that's got a header that says window 1, so that relates to our header window 1, and then we've got some content, window content 1, with a link that says go to window 2. That's this anchor element here. You can see it's got a particular data transition. I'm going to click on that, and we get this flip. And here's the back button. So when we had this property that said add back button true, that's what's caused this to be displayed. So we've got, here's basically the way that we can create pages. Now, this particular example is taken from a jQuery tutorial site. There's the link to the site. You can play with it. There are lots of other options. So one of the examples is you might add this data theme element to your header and your content div. So if I take this header div here and I say data theme equals B, and on the content div data theme equals B, and I save it, quick reload of the app, you can see we get this slightly different look and feel now. Obviously the second screen was still on the original theme, the default theme, so if I put it on this section as well. So if you think about the difference between iOS applications and Android applications, jQuery Mobile gives you lots of themes that you can use to try and customize the overall look of your application. And this is a different theme. I think there are about 7 themes that you can play with by default. So that's the second part. What we've done now is we've thrown away the default Hello World thing, and we've replaced our application with 2 windows. The first one has a link to the second, and the second one has a back button. The last thing we'll do here is we'll type git status. Git tells us we've modified index.html, so I'll say git commit -a-m updated index.html added 2 pages, and I'll push that back. If I can type my password. Yep. So I'm just going to save that change to GitHub in case we actually want to build this as a phone app. So that is the end of part 2. go and have a look at this jQuery tutorial site, and then you can play with some of the other themes, you can play with some of the other transitions, and you can start to look at how you can build page structures and navigation. You might like to try adding a third window with a link to that third window. Yeah, just have a play with it, different aspects of it. Okay.